Oh, that was her phone. I see. Yeah. So what's with the words on that is the person who did it as a art project was interested in comes at things from a literary point of view. So the words in there, one per page, rotating around in a circle, is from something by Baudelaire, the poet, and it tells about it in the introduction. And but of course it's impossible to read page by page, so it's backwards and around in circles. So I tend to just look at the pictures and forget about the words.
Well, when I was a little kid and had first learned to read well enough to read a magazine or a book by myself, I'd go to a store and you have to sit there and wait your turn, pick up a magazine, and I soon found out that all the jokes were in the back of the book, so I started reading the back before the front, and I still do that. St. Francis Hotel.
That's Foxy.
Yeah, that's Foxy. Well, this is the middle of the intersection.
Yeah, Foxy must have started. He usually didn't.
Foxy was one of the photographers?
Yeah. Yeah. Him and Joe used to get in big arguments. He would say to Joe, "You do it your vape, I do it my vape."
Most of these pictures are older. The majority are older people.
Well, that was Foxy. A lot of those are his.
Yeah, well, he took ours.
Joe was up there. That was.
Yeah, well, look at the furs.
Yeah.
All the hairdos are perfect. The men have good haircuts, all neat. Summer and Kaufman.
So Foxy was German?
No, Hungarian.
Hungarian,
Hungarian. He was a little guy about that big.
You know what his real name was?
No, nobody ever knew. Everybody accused him of being a wetback. Well, not that term, but
yeah.
He snuck in. He come in on a sail. He come in on a merchant marine and never went. A merchant sailor never went back. Oh yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, he never went back.
So I bet nobody thought that they were making art when they were out there. See, we take it out of its original purpose and put it into something new, and it's...
Here's the Cliff House. See, there we posed a lot of them.
Souvenir, yeah?
Yeah, that's where we posed a lot of them there. Cliff House.
All the women's coats are the same styles.
Now, how often would you go out to the Cliff House?
Every weekend.
Primarily a weekend thing.
Yeah.
Well, that when it was tourist.
Yeah.
Big tour buses would come and park there.
Still do, I think.
Yeah, we had that was a good lucrative spot from about, get out there about 9 o'clock until about 3.
Well, that was a nice sunny day.
Yeah, you didn't see much of that in San Francisco.
No.
Swabbies.
And how did you decide who's going to go out there?
Well, anybody could go.
So you could
would
get
support 2 guys. A lot of them didn't. Nobody wanted to work on Sundays. They were doing too good during the week, so I worked Sundays. So I used to go out there quite a few Sundays.
So you'd be out there alone, because...
Joe would go out. Joe went out there a lot too.
And you just stay out of each other's way?
Yeah. Well, one would work down further south in the Seal Rock, and then the other one would work back up. I don't know if you know where the car barns were. They were above Cliff House, just north of it. That burned down when the Cliff House burned down.
Was there any place else but the Union Square area and the Cliff House area that you did business?
Market Street.
Up and down Market Street.
Up and down Market Street, Powell Street.
They had the theaters there.
Huh?
In front of the theaters on Market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Esquire. No, that was our night spot. It was the Esquire Theater. And then Maiden Lane, a couple times a year when they had the festivals there on Maiden Lane off Union Square.
Uh-huh.
We used to go there.
Daffodils.
Daffodil Festival.
Daffodil Festival. That would be in the spring? Must be.
Yeah. And then we shot the Sacramento Fair. None, I haven't seen any from the fair.
No, we've only looked at 12 rolls, and we just pulled those rolls at random. So we've still got 900 rolls to go. And in fact, I'm pleased to know that I should look for the Sacramento Fair,
Yeah.
because they're probably in there somewhere.
Yeah, they're undoubtedly in there. Let's see, when did we go to the fair? I can't
You
remember.
did that every year for how many years?
You know, we're all from the city there, all the city boys. So we're driving up to Sacramento. Joe's car, there's Joe and his wife and Wes and myself and another guy in the back. We're driving up there, and they had one of those big windmills out in the field, see? And one of the guys says to us, "What the hell is that for?" Wes says, "That's a big fan to keep the cows cool." Oh, man. He used to go on like that all the time.
Joe's easy to work for?
Oh, yeah, yeah. He was all right. You had to yell back at him as well as he yelled at you. Then you got along. When I first met him, we were putting a Payco dryer in for him.
Yeah, but tell them how you got the Payco dryer.
A drum dryer, big drum dryer?
Yeah, Yvonne got the dryer.
I used to work for Hirsch & K, which is a big camera outfit on Grand Avenue, right by Chinatown. And of course I had a little pull then.
Uh-huh.
And the government was selling all the surplus photo equipment. And it came in a list of a book about so thick, about once a month. So I bring them, show them to him, and you and Wes and Joe get together and, well, let's buy this, that. But the Payco dryer was a great, big, huge thing.
We went down there, this little Ford, picked it up. Boy, we just barely got it in. Then we park on Market Street and bring it up, put it in the lab up there. And then I had to bring pipe all the way around the building to get gas to it, for heat.
It wasn't electric, I see.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
gas.
later on they were electric.
Yeah. So anyhow, you know, cut.
Wow, so it put a fire inside to heat it up.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So I had to cut the pipe and fit it and everything, and you know, no tools in those days, were nothing. Joe come in yelling at me about not getting it done fast.
Joe,
The first time I-
he was
first time I
tall.
I threw down the wrench on the floor and I said, "You son of a bitch, anything you do, think you can do it faster, here's the goddamn wrench. Go ahead." And we got along fine after that.
Uh-huh. Good.
That he would understand, you know. But some of the guys he'd terrify, you know. Jesus.
Well, he was such a big guy. Big voice.
He was both tall and big.
Oh,
Yeah.
very tall.
So
So photographers must have come and gone with him. Not everybody stayed for a long time, I imagine.
well, let's see, there was Duke, he stayed quite a while. I knew Duke and myself and Wes and his cousin, Bud Sell, and that was about it. That was about a core of us.
Wes would,
Wes, yeah.
So this Pecos incident goes all the way back to the end of the war?
Yeah, 1946. 1946, yeah. Wes was working there then. Wes was in the lab. And, well, we had some wild times. Lots of things went on that nobody should know about now.
Oh, really? Well, now you intrigue me. Well, it's hard to imagine today how there's any profit margin, you know, selling it for 50 cents at one point and then up to $1 later on, I think, which today sounds like nothing, but I guess the film amounted to less than a penny.
On the film, yeah. The film was nothing. Cameras, once you capitalized your camera,
Yeah.
and your enlarger, that was your two main expenses. You know.
Yeah.
But if you think about money, think about a $20 gold piece, that $20 bill, $20 paper bill. If you had a $20 gold piece today, it's worth about $800.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a $20 paper bill, it's not worth any more than $20.
Right.
So those times you could get a lot for less. Our paper was a lot cheaper, and we bought a lot of surplus film. We got film surplus.
in great big huge rolls.
You actually cut down the film from larger than 100?
Yeah, 1,000-foot rolls. We bought 1,000-foot rolls.
So it really was movie film to start with.
Yeah. I thought 1,000-foot rolls. And cut them down.
And then, of course, we have that spiral processing spool that you could do
Steinman reel. Yeah, you could process 100 feet on that. But a lot of times you would cut the rolls 25, 30 feet if it got too long. Or some guy got, taken out and shot maybe half a roll and got sick or something, wasn't in for a week or two. You had to cut the roll to get the film out. Otherwise you start getting complaints.
because they'd already paid their money, and then they'd call up and say, "Where's my shot?"
Yeah, and everybody was licensed, believe it or not, by the city account in San Francisco.
And no credit cards then. It was all cash.
Oh, sure. But you didn't have to do your own souping. There was the guy in the dark room that did all the processing.
Yeah, they had two guys in the dark room, and then they cut down to one. It's hard to get help for the dark room. That was terrible. We had this guy come in, Chinese.
Before the Pecos tire.
Yeah, before the Paker dryer.
You had
ferrite tins.
Oh, yeah.
Plates?
Ferrite plates.
Plates that the
Ferrite tins.
ferrite tins.
Yeah.
And you'd come in the morning, and they were all dry, and they were all over the place.
And they were curled up, they curled about half.
Yep.
And so you had to put them in a press and straighten them all out. See? Yeah.
Pick them up off the floor or wherever else.
So he come to work the first day, and it was slap bang photography. It was fast. And you had the our header, and you had the roll of film there, and the numbers and cards and everything. And he wanted to know.
And there's the Cleft Hotel.
Joe, he worked there about till lunchtime, and he said to Joe, "You got no equipment here. No equipment, no nothing." See, Joe said, "Well, that's the way it worked. Just keep going." So the guy walks out to lunch and never came back. We always used to teach Joe about something. We need something. Got no equipment here. God. Nobody was there.
So So it sounds like you're fulfilling dozens of prints in a day.
Oh yeah, I don't know how. Well, yeah, you do. Let's see, it's 5. You did 3 or 4 rolls a day. That's 1,000, maybe 10, 15, 200. You're doing 500 or 600 prints a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
From how many photographers? 3 or 4 out there?
5.
5 out there at the time?
Yeah. And then Joe would come in at night and develop. He would do the, you know, because most of the photography did was print and stuff. And then they had a girl in the office addressing envelopes.
Yeah.
And stuffing them. And sometimes we'd all have to go in and help stuff too.
Did you ever mess up a roll developing it?
No.
You got good at it.
Got good at it, yeah.
Yeah.
He could do it in his sleep, I think.
Yeah. Because if you don't get it on there right, it's going to touch and mess up.
Yeah, we put it on backwards too.
Hmm.
Hesselgesser did that. Action photos. We had post office and everything. And then one guy had to spend half a morning a lot of times doing reprints. And they'd reorder.
Really? People would say, that's great, I need 2 more or 6 more?
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
And then you'd have to go dig that negative out.
Sure.
You know.
That big roll.
Especially if they thought of it 6 months later or something like
yeah.
that.
Sometimes you get them in 2 years old. You know, what happened was, for some reason, somebody would buy a picture, see, and then they put the picture in the card and everything in an envelope and put it in an album or something, the whole thing, and then they die and the kids see it and they want a picture, So then you get one 2 or 3 years old sometimes. And dig that thing out. You never knew.
Well, sometimes those numbers on the edges, I can't make them out for the life of me.
Oh no, that's why most of the cards, like if you shot this picture here and they bought it, you would 2F whole gloves or something noticeable. See, 2F 1 hat, 1 no hat. You just
mark it on the ticket.
Yeah, mark it on the ticket. Yeah, just mark it on the card. You say.
Yeah.
And you can hit it.
Yeah.
And that there, you can get close enough. Once in a while we send out the wrong picture, and then they send it back. And
You go back and fix it.
yeah, go back and fix it. That's all.
Yeah.
It worked that way.
Well, I noticed some of the photographers, I don't know whether he was instructing or not to do this, or everybody did it, but every 100 frames, there's a blank frame.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if everybody was doing that.
That's when you took a section of cards out. Just shot it. Just held your hand over the lens and shot one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because it took me a while to notice that the blank frames were not just by accident, they were happening exactly every 100.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You had 100 cards in the rack.
I see.
Yeah, we had 100 cards. Oh, this is night.
Yeah, those are night.
I didn't tell you, but one time at night, Wes is shooting out here at the Esquire Theater, in front of the Esquire Theater. And some guy comes along that's a beggar. And he's got crutches, and he comes over and he tells Wes, "You're in my spot." And Wes says, "I shoot here all the time." And the guy starts beating Wes over the head with his crutch. It was funny. Wes is trying to protect the camera.
Yeah, well, that's what orders from headquarters. Camera warrior. Oh no. On the table. Not many servicemen.
No.
Well, he shut down during the war, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to.
Yeah.
Powell Street there.
And we have a
This ran Avenue here.
I don't know.
Yeah, see the UP.
Dorman, Nathan Dorman.
Yeah. There's Union Square.
Mm-hmm.
This is some of Joe's here.
How do you know that?
He used to shoot far back, further back than anybody. So you see how far these are shot back? See how much you get in? See this one?
Right.
Yeah, he used to shoot further back.
Uh-huh, okay.
That's not always the rule, but that's generally what you got.
Yeah. Well, you'd think that the closer you get to the person, the more rapport you're going to have, is the more body language that's telling you they're going to buy it.
Yeah.
They're cooperating. Because remember, the last time we talked, you made me aware, you could tell which ones were sold for sure.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell now which ones sold and which ones didn't, unless they're stopped and posed, then you know they bought it.
Yeah.
Well, I never realized that until you told me.
Here's a closed one here.
That's Woolworths right there.
Yeah. That's Market Street.
Oh, Woolworths was in the flood building, wasn't it, or not?
Yeah, right on the corner of the Powell and Market. This is Market Street here.
Summer and Kaufman.
Okay, no, no
9
problem.
o'clock. What time was it? Look at it go.
Can't tell.
20 minutes to 11 or 12.
Seen second class.
Yeah, I tried looking at the times on those clocks down there in Market to see how much time was passing from, how fast you were shooting. Looks like sometimes you'd be shooting more than one a minute,
Yeah.
and other times I guess it slowed down.
Yeah. Grant Avenue, or that was in front of Granite Brothers, that clock.
Well, there's one still on there of the old ones that's right practically on front of the flood building on Market, just down a little bit. Or what would that be? East a little bit, I guess. Has a sign on it saying it's historic.
A long time ago, huh?
Yeah. So is it easier to shoot when it was really thick with people, or do you find
Thick
it?
with people, it was harder.
Yeah.
You need a medium amount of people. You get a big crowd like in a parade or something. You just
Nobody sees you.
you can't.
Well, you
work.
get other people in
Yeah.
You get too many
that
people.
don't want to be in the picture.
Right.
We got it was difficult. You know, you used to fair when they were coming out of the horse race and everything. You just go get a beer or something to lay on. You couldn't shoot 'em. Too many people.
But you'd be out there maybe all day long, stop for lunch, or
Oh yeah. Stop for lunch, go have a cup of coffee or something. You
get off your feet.
just go sit down and have a cup of coffee or something.
Then you'd come in to change film, or change film out in the field?
You never change film out.
Outside.
Yeah. Always come in. Very rarely though. Unless you had a roll, there's not 100 left, you'd have to come back in and get a change. But usually they put another camera out for you. Have another camera sitting there and pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Just change cameras.
Oh, did you prefer to have one camera that felt right?
No.
Or it didn't
they're
matter?
all pretty much the same.
Uh-huh.
DeVry was very consistent in their manufacturing, I think. Yeah. If you notice those, you trigger them, they're all pretty much the same on the ones you got.
Oh, yeah.
You trigger them, they're all pretty much the same. The viewfinders were a little different.
Right. Well, I wish one of the harnesses had survived, but because we got the cameras, and there's a picture of all the
Yeah.
straps and things to hold it on, but that must have been a contraption. That had to be hand fabricated.
Made by a saddle maker. Yeah, I can draw you a picture of how they're supposed to be. I remember that.
So when you bought the camera, it didn't have the The harness. You had that made to specification.
Yeah, we had them
And it
made.
comes with a little side salad. Do you want?
Well, originally the camera was made to shoot like this,
Yeah,
and
and
they
it's
had to convert it.
to use it sideways.
Yeah, but no, we would take the back of it had a big ring on it. The back, right in the small of the back, had a big ring about this big. A piece of leather about this big, and then that ring was attached to the leather. Okay, one strap had was circular, had rings, and so it would slide on this ring, then went over your shoulder to the camera, and then the other one came down behind you and came this way to the camera. And they were adjustable because you got short people and big people.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, but the bigger one that come over here was a wider strap and had some padding in it.
So it didn't cut your shoulder, yeah. Yeah, that must have gotten heavy by later in the day.
Yeah, it did. But pretty soon you'll learn to hold it up a little with the left hand. Yeah, you'll learn to hold it up.
And in the winter,
Winter.
you wore it on top of a coat.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. We had leather vests. Leather vest.
But you'd go out just any weather you wanted except maybe the rain.
We never went in the rain. A couple guys tried it under the theater marquees, but
Yeah.
you couldn't do anything. You know,
Well, if they've got
everybody-
umbrellas, they don't.
Yeah,
You can't see them,
everybody had an umbrella.
and they don't want to stop and get wet by
No,
writing out a ticket.
no. So
Well, by the time you hung onto your purse and the umbrella, that's all you could do.
But business must have been more difficult when it was too chilly and people didn't want to stop in the.
yeah, it was. Winter time is. In fact, in winter time, one winter when we were back in Utah, we got a job of selling coffee from Woolworths, demonstrators in Woolworths. Take care of the winter.
Look at the Santa Claus.
And then we converted one of these. I don't know if I told you. We were the first ones to build one that would work with a strobe unit. And we built one that worked with double strobe. And took pictures of kids on Santa Claus's lap with it.
Huh.
And that was good. That was gravy. That was a gravy treat.
Wow.
For about 2 weeks, we got well.
And warm.
You had to rent an indoor place to do it.
No, we did it at ZCMI.
What is that?
That's the largest department store in Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay. This is from Salt Lake City. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Zoyne's Collective Mercantile Institution. I can't remember that.
But that wasn't part of Cell's operation. That was your
Yeah,
operation.
this was our operation.
Yeah.
Well, we all based it off his.
So what happened to your film? It's
West
not mixed in with his.
No,
I don't know.
West threw it away.
Yeah. Well, up to a certain point, that would have been nitrate film, which
Yeah,
doesn't hold up.
no.
So it would be pretty bad shape by now, even if.
Yeah. And that was surplus when we bought it, too.
Right.
Well, that was 60 years ago.
Is it that long ago?
Yeah. Yeah, I think 35 millimeter film up until about 1952 was nitrocellulose.
Yeah.
So that was not good. And then they went over to not acetate, but triacetate. I don't know. But it was at least safety film, so-called.
Yeah.
Wouldn't burn.
Yeah, I remember all the big razzmatazz about safety film. We never used it.
Yeah. So it'd be fun to see some of that older stuff, but it's hard to find.
Yeah, let's go on. I don't have any of that. I had some from Salt Lake, but I don't think I got any left.
I don't think I have any.
So there was a period when you were going to Salt Lake off-season, or
No, we just...
you were
we
back
just-
and forth?
Yeah, we just set up back there. We set up and logged it first. Then we moved up to Salt Lake, got a license in Salt Lake. Then we closed it down. Salt Lake is just not a good city. I don't know what it was, but it was tough making a living in Salt Lake, I'll tell you.
That was before air conditioning.
So what years might that have been? You remember the years more? I know before air conditioning was in my childhood, we didn't have air conditioning.
Well, you never got air conditioning much until the late 50s, 60s.
Right, that's right.
Well, we never used it in San Francisco.
But you came here permanently at what point?
What, San Francisco?
Yeah.
Well, we were here. We were born and raised in San Francisco.
Born and raised here, and then you were in
No,
Salt.
born and raised in San Francisco.
We were in Salt Lake for about 2 years.
I see. Okay. But you'd already known Sel.
Oh yeah.
Then you went there and then came back.
Yeah.
And rejoined with him.
Yeah.
Wanted to spread your wings and try it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, was he getting richer than you were, as the owner?
Oh yeah. He did well. Rich. He died a multi-millionaire.
But not all because of photography.
Oh yeah.
You're kidding. But
No.
plus he'd invested some money.
Huh?
He must have invested some money.
Well, yeah, he invested some money in real estate, but
That'll do it.
it wasn't that good. I mean, he only invested in seconds. He didn't. The first time he really made an investment in real estate, he got stung pretty bad. You never did see his house out there. It's in St. Francis Woods. So it would sell now for, I'd say, $8 or $9 million.
Uh-huh.
But
What street?
it was on Balsita, 90 Balsita.
90 Balsita.
But I worked on that one, and then he built another spec house out there on Ocean Avenue, and that did not go over very good at all. He had two vacant stores